Hi everyone, welcome to the 7th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by my friends Jason Tong and Harrison Chea. Say hi guys.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
And of course, I'd like to thank Casey McNichol for her continued support and for making sure that our operation is running smoothly. So of course, what my podcast is always about, it allows me to get to know my friends on a deeper level. And whether I've known them for a few months at Quinnipiac or known them for years like you guys. And it's fitting enough for my first show of 2024. It's also my first show with non-Quinnipiac students. So I always want to help expand this podcast, and this is a great way to do so. So kind of with that said, guys, how about we get into things?
Sounds good.
I'd like to ask you guys just to tell us a bit about yourselves for those who are unaware.
All right. Well, as you guys saw me, as Ryan said, I am Jason Tong. I am now a junior at college in Liberty University. I'm studying video editing, as you know. Quite the artsy guy myself. And, I like to, one big thing about me, I love to go to the gym. That's like my second home of the day. Love to go in there 2 hours a day. Always my highlight. Then obviously I like to hang out with the homies. That's how I met these two gents right here. And that's pretty basic overview of myself.
Awesome. So my name's Harrison, but you could call me Harry for short, as you guys know. I'm also a junior. I attend University of Hartford for illustration. That's my major, and then my minor is photography. Little things about myself. I mean, as you guys know, for a while now, that art's been like my biggest thing in life.
Yes, sir.
And I've really taken up photography as a hobby to the point where I'm minoring now, so it's kind of cool. And you just never find me without a camera anywhere. So, I mean, we'll talk about that more. So that's gonna be interesting.
Incredible. And of course, we're in a big friend group from our hometown of North Haven, Connecticut. So I guess we could kind of explain it a little bit for those who are not in our little inner circle.
So I know you two have known each other for longer than I've known Jason, and Jason's the longest friend I've known for, so you guys could elaborate on yourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because Jason and I go way back to preschool.
Preschool.
Where we were
the day.
best of friends back in the day. Our moms have all the photos of us.
Yes, sir, baby.
From back then.
Yeah, man.
Jason, yeah. And which is interesting because we were friends in preschool and then sort of got out of touch over the years.
Yeah.
Remember we were in band together in middle school.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You're percussion too, right?
I was percussion.
Yep, I remember that now.
Your boy was on the drums.
Yes, sir. Always hanging in the back playing the drums, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that you were in band or percussion.
I completely forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. A long time ago, clearly.
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago.
And then over the years in high school, we were on the same track team.
Yep.
And then senior year of high school, I got close with you and Pat and Harrison again, and we kind of formed a little group with a few of us.
Let's go, baby.
Pat being another one of our friends,
who
I hope to have on here very soon.
Oh, yeah.
So me and Jason, we go back to kindergarten.
Yeah.
And I don't think we were ever in the same class together.
No,
we always had different teachers, but it was either during recess time where me and Jason would hit each other up a lot.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then during middle school, I think I'd say 7th, 8th grade was when me and Jason got more in touch back together.
Oh, yeah.
Especially 8th grade because we had the same lunch table and that type of stuff. You were there as well, weren't
Yes.
you? Yeah, we were all in the same
We
lunch
talk about the
table.
NBA.
Yeah, exactly. So 8th grade was I think that prime year where we all got to know each other. And then I think it was high school where it kind of died down again for a little bit, but then it was junior, senior year of high school where all of us would just potentially hook up. And then senior year happened, and then to mention Pat again, we had this Minecraft server, and me, Jason, and Pat were online just about every day, and we were the group because we always did these group things on the game, but we were a group, and that's I think when we potentially just came closer to the point where we actually started like hanging out more physically. And then I know like Pat always invites us to his place, and then you come over, and it's like, you know, it's kind of a big crossover here.
Exactly.
And then that's when, you know, us three kind of formed. And then like I'd say like last year was when we really got things going. And then this summer was one of the most epic summers that us
really
three
was.
ever had, because it was really where us three really started bonding like that.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
you know, a lot of our friends like Pat and another one of our friends, Rob, they were away, so it's kind of just the availability was us three, and we were hanging around a lot, seeing a lot of movies and things like that, and that was
the
so much fun.
unemployed
Lots of
homies.
films.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and kind of going into that, I kind of wanted to ask you guys some of your fondest memories from our friend group so far. If there's any that, like, any in particular that come to mind.
I think the first one that comes to mind for me is the day trip that we took to New York City, because that was the first time where I think all of us, including us three, went on a trip out of state together and just had a day to pretty much do whatever we want. Obviously, that trip didn't really run as smoothly because, you know, some things here and there we had food issues where we didn't book a restaurant on time, and it was so packed because this was like pre-New Year.
In Manhattan, New York.
New York City, you know, that's a
Peak hours.
big city to be in during that time. So it's going to be so crowded. Walking is going to be, you know, a really big hassle because of all the people that are there. And so, but I hope we do something like that again.
Yeah.
And I hope we do something like that for longer. But that's definitely the first thing that comes to mind.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The next thing that comes to mind is like all of the movies, all of like the movie theater trips, because it's like usually after the movies we kind of like hit up a place. We go to Athena, we go to B-Dubs.
Yeah, BW, Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah.
So we're always out and about during those days. And all of those days are like memorable on its own.
Yeah.
For also the specific movies that we watch.
Yeah. And it's just like like you said, like the fun shenanigans after. And I know a lot of Quinnipiac students would know the area we're talking about, because a lot of them would go there to shop. So like by the Cinemark here in North Haven, we have like the Target and all the stores like a Barnes and Noble and stuff.
And we would just go shop rating. We don't even buy anything.
Yeah, we just like window shop.
Just go in there, we window shop, we look at things, and then we leave.
Window shop at like IKEA and Home Depot, as if we buy anything
TJ
from Home
Maxx,
Depot. Yeah, like TJ Maxx as well. And like just something simple like that can be so fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bro.
And even just our like normal days where Pat invites us over.
Yeah.
It's like we are always there from like 6, 7 to like 1 in the morning.
1, 2 in the morning, yeah.
And we would just be talking nonsense.
Yeah.
We'd be watching like maybe a Celtics game
on the TV.
On the side.
Yeah, or just like playing a card game, and then it's just fun. Yeah, like just
facts.
simple hangouts and stuff is fun.
Yep.
But I even wanted to reflect on the New York trip a bit now, a year removed from it, because I'm remembering that, and we kind of, for those, of course, who weren't there, we took a train in the morning.
Yep.
You guys can help me trace this. And we, of course, went to the observation deck, right? The
we went to Rockefeller, and I forgot how many floors it is, but we went up.
Yeah.
We went up really high,
all the way up to the top there.
And I've been there before, but I know you guys haven't. So
that was really special too.
Yeah.
Like around like where 30 Rock is, right? And where those shows are done.
We tried to get into the Lego store. There was that line. We had that would take an hour just to get in, which was pretty funny. And then after that, we spent maybe like 2 hours trying to look for food, because the place that we were trying to go to was completely booked, and we would have to wait like 45 minutes,
essentially,
right? So we didn't want to do that, so we ended up just having McDonald's. And from what I recall, is everybody's best McDonald's meal that they've ever had.
It was so like, it's the most prestigious McDonald's you could ever find.
It doesn't get any better than that.
It was like some fine dining type of McDonald's.
It really did feel like it.
Yeah.
It was like, because you order it on you order it like a kiosk on the first floor.
Yep.
You get your order. You go up to you walk up to the second level and you eat it there.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And we were also there with a couple other of our friends, Marcus and Dom, just to mention them as well. And of course Pat, and then us. and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then I think after that we kind of just went window shopping.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember we wanted to go to that place that you mentioned.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot what it was.
Cheesecake.
But you.
I think it was a restaurant because my parents had recommended the restaurant we wanted to go to,
Yeah.
which was very nice.
You also, I believe that you wanted to go somewhere that involved like cake or dessert.
Oh yeah, I wanted to buy a cake for
Yeah.
my mom,
Yep.
and
that
they were
didn't end
closed.
up happening
Yeah.
because it got closed, and then we were walking everywhere, so then
Yeah.
we got all sidetracked, and then we had the issue of what time we were gonna leave because we
Yeah.
didn't
They got
discuss
picked up.
that yet,
Yep.
Yeah.
and so we had to kind of like pack up and hurry, and that's I think where it really got out of hand.
Mm.
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Can't,
Which is a great learning
Yeah.
experience.
Oh, yeah.
and so it's like
Really map
we
out.
really learned
Mhm.
that one, we should book ahead of time for places
Yeah.
like I did for the observation deck.
Mm.
Two, know where we're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And
'Cause that's so
actually
vital.
like call the place and
Yeah.
be like,
Have a
yo, we
reservation.
wanna
Mhm.
book for this time. Can we
Mhm.
do that?
But just in general, for me, it was so fun to see the city because I hadn't been there in years.
Mm.
I couldn't remember the last time I'd been there, so that was fun to do, and
Yeah.
of course to hang around with you guys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
man.
Another fun things we've done, we've gone to the beach a couple
Oh,
times.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
those are always fun,
Oh, yeah.
and just kind of like what we talked about, like the simple times.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of to keep going, I want to also talk about kind of beyond our friend group, how your colleges have been treating you and some of the people you've met there.
Okay. All right. So I'm not sure if I've already said, but I go to Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia,
Mhm.
and oh man, it's been a lot. Made a lot of memories there. Nothing's really come to me yet, but I have met like a lot of people. Like, I'd say like my main friend group, at least when I go to college, is my boys Christian, my boy JP, Micah, and Danny. Bro, Danny is literally he's like 17 or something like that, and it's crazy. But he's like hanging out with all of us, and we're like all like 20 and above. But like he's just like the coolest dude ever, and like I've never seen someone like as mature as him at that age, just able to hang out with like us. Like he's like one of the homies. Like oh, he's just so much fun. We can always get into like shenanigans here and there. Like one of our most recent ones I remember is we pulled up to Buffalo Wild Wings for like the last night on campus. Instead of just eating regular food, we decided to order a blazing hot sauce on the side
Oh boy.
just to try it out. Ooh, man, that was quite the experience. I handled it okay the first time, but I put a little too much hot sauce on. I tried it a second time, and that's what did it for me. And I'm pretty sure I was coughing for like 5 minutes at least. Like I needed water desperately, but nothing was helping. Ooh, man, when I got back to that dorm, man, that was a crazy night. But yeah, so it's like times like that. I had a lot of great memories over at college. Probably one of my fondest ones was probably going to the CUSA game at my school. We were hosting like our first. I think it was the first time that we ever made it in. And I was actually there on the sidelines. I was shooting videography for my job at the Liberty Champion newspaper. At them at the Champion Chats.
Shout out
The podcast. Shout out to them, bro. And then I've been doing a lot of that stuff throughout the semester. Like I shot football, I shot field hockey, and I shot basketball for one trip, which I went out to like North Carolina in the Charlotte Hornet Stadium to be exact. Yeah, it was insane. I got to be on the sidelines and everything. Unfortunately, the players weren't there, like the Charlotte players. But hey, it was an experience in itself, and yeah, that's what I gotta say at least.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
What about you, Harry?
So just talking about like college and all.
Yeah, people you've met.
Yeah,
What
so
you're doing there.
again, I go to University of Hartford for illustration and photography. So, you know, I'm mainly around people focusing on art, and specifically illustration. So, you know, all the people that I really talk to are also artists that, you know, come from an artistic background, which is, you know, kind of super cool. And I think one of the huge perks about being, you know, in university is that you really link up with people that kind of share the same like admirations and like, you know, things that they want to do in life. And so to name people off the bat, I have a really good friend. His name is Ben, and he's definitely a very enthusiastic person, and one of the main people that I talk to in like the illustration department, because he's really interested in stuff like comic books, comic book art, all that sorts of things. And he's also just like an all around really nice person to like go to. And, you know, we've gotten really close and comfortable with each other for like, I think the past 2 years. And sometimes now he gets a little too comfortable. And it's funny because we all joke about it, like with all of our other friends that are like in the class. That's the first person that comes to mind in the illustration department. The person that would technically come up most often would actually be my girlfriend, who is a photography major, and we met in October. No, we met in September, but then we started dating in October of freshman year. And it's kind of cool because she really took the photographer in me to be, you know, rather the person behind the camera than in front of the camera, because if you remember, like during high school, it was like you, me, Scott, who was another friend of ours, Marcus would be our main photographer on his like Samsung, or when he got an iPhone. And I was merely more of a person in front of the camera, even though I didn't quite like it a lot, but it was still kind of like this fun experience of like, you know, I kind of like being in pictures. I kind of like photography in a sense, but I really never took it to account that I liked it so much. And then one of the things that made me link up with my girlfriend now was I had a project, and it was a wearable sculpture. So you were making something out of like cardboard or like materials of something that you can wear. So I made a giant hat, and we had to take pictures of us, you know, wearing it or someone wearing it. So I just decided to do myself, and because I knew that she was a photographer, I was like, hey, do you think that you could take photos for me and all that type of stuff? And the photos came out great. And that's when I think I realized, like, okay, I really want to try photography. And then one of my classes called 4D was really based on like photography, videography, Photoshop, After Effects, and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much like your Adobe programs. And we got to use cameras, and I think it was a Canon T7. So I went out with my friend Ben to shoot photos for one of the projects. And it was so much fun, to the point where I was like, okay, I want to get my own camera and all that type of stuff. So, you know, I really put a lot of respect on her for the fact that she really got me into photography. Otherwise, to be honest, like, I didn't really plan to make too many friends. I was always like the quiet one in class, especially in like last year, because
You're literally me.
Yeah,
That's all of us.
like I think that's all of us.
Exactly.
And so, like, you know, I didn't really plan on making too many friends, nor did I really care to do so, because you know, I kind of liked minding my own privacy and all that type of stuff. It was really until I'd say this year, last semester, was really when I started opening up, because it was like the first time where I would end up talking a lot, like during a class time, like just to classmates. And I usually would never do that, because I always like to work on my own stuff. I always like to, you know, not really peep into other people's stuff until they're done. But now it's like I really love watching other people's progress on like their works. So I guess other friends I could mention right now is Derek. He's really good at creating monsters. My friend Joe, who was also in one of my classes, or the class specifically where I did talk a lot, he really loves making Christmas themed stuff because he loves Christmas. My friend Jackson, he's really into like anime, manga, manhwa type of stuff. So his illustrations are really based off of that kind of comic book style. And there's so many more people that I could name, but I don't want to like take too much time like talking about each individual person and what they do, but kind of just to put it all together, all of the friends that I've kind of like made this semester specifically are all into so many different things and so many different like genres of art. And it's cool because, you know, it differs from mine, but it's like everyone appreciates each other for the things that they do rather than, you know, look down on it, because I mean, we're all artists here, and if, you know, everyone who is in that room wants to be some sort of artist in the future, and, you know, it doesn't get any better than appreciating what other people do than that. So
Exactly. And we are who we're surrounded by. And I know, like, kind of like what you've said in the past, or what you've told me in the past, Harry, is that, you know, all the art students at UHART are kind of gathered together, and that's just definitely a profound influence for you in terms of kind of elevating your art while helping others do the same. And I'm sure you, Jason, with what you're doing at Liberty, you're around a lot of students who are kind of like-minded in terms of what you're trying to do, and Quinnipiac is the same thing for me. That's why you've seen so many guests on here so far, and we'll see more in the future. And kind of what you've talked about, Harry, is a very wonderful transition towards what I'm going to ask you guys next, which is what drove both of you guys to pursue artistic professions.
Okay, I like this question.
Yeah, you want to go first, bro?
All right, so to be funny, it's actually starts a long time ago. So basically, I'd say as early as like probably like third grade, I'd say I actually wanted to become an author. That was the first thing I wanted to become. Like, I always wanted to become an author. I was a huge fan of Percy Jackson series. Loved anything that had to do with like Greek mythology. It was just so cool. Loved anything with action and fantasy. I just loved it. Like, I just loved like having my imagination just soar whenever I'm reading books. Unfortunately, I've kind of fallen out of love with books, but it's not because I don't like them. It's just because I just got busy with school and stuff. But yeah, basically just going like a couple years forward. I'd say up to let's call it like senior year of high school. I kind of wanted to be an author, but I feel like I didn't really see myself like pursuing like an actual career in it. I feel like it would be something that's like you just do it for fun, like you would do, Ryan, with your books and everything. But after like high school, I was kind of like still figuring things out. So I didn't have a major going in at first coming into college. I was actually a film major, was my first one going in. I was a film major for screenwriting was my focus. I tried one semester with it. It was good. There's nothing bad about it. It was just I just looked into like the job prospects and everything, and just like the likelihood of me making it as a screenwriter was just not. It wasn't looking hot for me. Let's just say that. So I looked into it a little bit more. Kind of prayed about it, trying to figure out this like really what I wanted to like focus on. Then it was actually like the semester. It was like the semester after. I came back. I basically came in with a mindset that this is most likely gonna be my last semester. I'm not sure if I really want to stay here because I'm still trying to figure things out. And it was actually crazy because like midway through the semester, I was like starting like kind of like I guess like a lot more video stuff because I know I like movies like you guys do. We had a big summer on that, and so I started thinking about it a little bit more. I was like, I don't know, something about videos seems kind of cool. Like I like the whole aspect of just like making a video just from like one thing and just making it into so many things. So I basically made that into a career path. So now I'd say like my major in college is now video editing in the digital media and journalism department. And yeah, so basically what I do with that is I just do what my plan is to do is videography in somewhat, and so I'm gonna be looking for internships pretty soon, looking around the area like of Connecticut, obviously. But honestly, I'm pretty open to like almost anything. Like my dad, I think my dad was talking to me how he has one friend named I think Bobby McQueen over at GMA. Actually, he said he's good friends with them in college, which is crazy. And he said that he wants me to talk to him and see if I can maybe get like an internship at GMA. Just be insane, actually. So I'm definitely talking to him about that, and then looking into like other internships, like maybe like ESPN, like something like simple like that, and then we'll just see what happens from there. But I'm very excited for it.
Yeah. And if you have the last name McQueen, you're essentially guaranteed to be
Oh
cool.
yeah,
You're guaranteed to be cool. But that's that's incredible to know because like kind of like what you said, it's never too late to pivot.
Oh yeah,
and find more things you're passionate about. Of course, you found filming, and that's provided you with so many incredible opportunities. But maybe potentially in the future, if you still enjoy screenwriting and that's still something you can do, maybe you can, let's say you're moving up in the filming world, maybe you can go back to that.
That's true.
And of course, that's something I'm interested in as well. And I kind of like to ask you, Harry. I know you talked about a lot of what led you towards kind of photography on a deeper level, but what sort of drove you to want to be an artist, maybe perhaps earlier on, like what Jason talked about?
Yeah, so I kind of come from an artistic background, like, from a really young age, because when I was a kid, back in my old home, my grandma, during her free time, because she didn't work, would pretty much just draw and paint. And she would draw things with the markers that I would be like using at a really young age, so like Crayola markers and colored pencils and all that type of stuff, like the cheap end of art, because I mean that's all that kids could really use. But even though I don't have like those drawings anymore, it's kind of embedded in my memory, and from what I remember, even though with those cheap sets of markers and cheap sets of paint, she was like an outstanding artist. Like, she painted a fruit basket, and it was the most amazing fruit basket I've ever seen someone whipped out at the time. Like, because I've never seen anyone like make something that good, like, ever. And I think that really drove me to want to be like my grandma and kind of like do art as a hobby. And so when I was a kid, I would draw things that I would be very interested in. So I was really interested in space. I was really interested in dinosaurs. I was really interested in mythological creatures, specifically dragons. And so I would draw things like that. And in elementary school, we went to the library, and you know how we could rent out books for like a week. I would rent out how to draw books and learn off of the how to draw books, like how to draw sharks, how to draw dragons, how to draw boats. And so, my love for drawing kind of like always existed since I was young, and I really give it thanks to the fact that I really watched my grandma paint and draw, and I aspired to be like her. And I don't remember this, but I asked my mom this like a couple of weeks ago, and she told me like, yeah, when you were a kid, you would start crying and throwing a fit because I thought my grandma was so good. And of course, when I'm a kid, my grandmother was better than me, and I wanted to be just as good as her, right? And I didn't really know that, and I've shown like my grandmother my pieces now, and now she says that I surpassed her, and that's kind of like a really big honor to have, of like surpassing like your own family members for the thing that you really love to do. So that's pretty much where it started. And then I'd say in like middle school, high school, even though my love for drawing was still there, it was still merely just a hobby. So like I loved drawing on the side. I loved, doing, I think at the time I used to really draw my anime type of stuff. I didn't sort of get into realism yet. And that's also because that wasn't the one thing that I was focusing at the time. Because in middle school and like the beginning of high school, like how I talked about earlier, like I loved space and I loved the like dinosaur and stuff. Growing up into high school, I wanted to actually be an astronomer or like a paleontologist or an archaeologist in the future, because I love that kind of like history, and I love like the idea of like excavating the unknown. You know what I mean? Like whatever is out there in space, like looking at planets and stars and all that type of stuff, and galaxies, or dinosaurs, you know, finding fossils, or, you know, lost buildings. Like that sounded cool because I was like, I kind of want to be Indiana Jones. So that was the thing that really was on my mind coming into middle school and high school. And then it was really during the middle of high school where I obviously took an art course, and we had to do a still life. So a still life is pretty much, you know, drawing on observation of what you're looking at, like a setup of props and all that type of stuff. And so I had to finish a still life in pencil. And when I made that piece, it was like the best piece I have ever created in my entire life at that point. And that's when I realized that like art might not just be a hobby because I'm good at it. I could be so good that I could have this as a job like in the future. And that's where my mindset really went to, okay, now the options are like there, that art could still really be something that I could do in the future. And then from there, I think it just grew on me. I had a couple art blocks here and there because, you know, when you're doing too much art, sometimes it's really like mentally draining, especially for me because I take so much time on all my projects. You gotta take a break every once in a while, but, you know, the passion was still there. So when I came into college, you know, I wasn't so sure of what I was doing because, you know, I'd say like when I thought of art, I didn't think of art in different branches. I always thought of art of just drawing because that's the one thing I was good at. But when I got into college, I was doing things left and right. I was doing ceramics. I was doing 3D sculpture, making stuff out of wires and cardboard and, you know, waste material. I was doing painting, and here's one of the things. I actually always hated painting because I hated color because I was never good at it, right? But, you know, how are you supposed to be better if you're, you know, not going to learn about it? So, you know, I really took my time to study how to paint, color theory, because that really matters. How to draw things from life, how to draw a good composition, so framing and all that type of stuff. And then that's where I was like, okay, now I could really do this. So sophomore year of college was when I really started to make a breaking point where I was like, now I just have to put all of these together and make a really good piece out of it, because the freshman year was kind of really just like a general year of me figuring things out. And sophomore year was like, okay, let me actually put this all together and see what I could do out of it. And then that's when I realized, like, it kind of clicked on me. I was like, I could actually do this. And so now my choice to become an illustrator is solidified, though I am having a little bit of trouble right now because I have the illustrator in me, which is more like editorial based artwork, like, you know, given prompts and all that type of stuff, like maybe book art or like magazine covers and all that type of stuff. But I also really like fine arts and, you know, the idea of putting your work in a gallery or having an exhibition. So now, while I still want to be an illustrator, now the thought of me trying to put two together, so being an illustrator and a fine arts person and putting it together is like something that I'm still trying to look at right now. But that's really it. You know, it had a really long starting point and then it just built its way up, like, you know, how kind of like you explained it, where like you know, you always had the artistic mindset with you, with wanting to be an author, and then you realized that maybe that wasn't for you, and then you wanted to go to screenwriting, and then that maybe wasn't for you, and then you know, you finally figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of really says that, you know, it's never really too late to really start thinking about the things that you want to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, and kind of like our passions could be like learning, where it's a lifelong process, and you kind of continue to learn things about what you love as you gain experiences in life. And Harrison, your grandma's genes really carried down well.
Yeah.
You, and each generation always wants to improve upon the next, and kind of her influencing you and inspiring you in that way has led to you doing so many incredible things, both illustrating and photography. And to kind of build on that, I would like to ask you more about the art you gravitate towards making specifically.
That's a really good question, because honestly, I don't really know myself, because I'm very interested in many things. I know my main style, however, is realism. So I like to draw things from life. I like to draw things or paint things as if it was a scene in a movie. And so I guess to start this off, one of the things that really inspire me to make my artwork is my love for photography and how it could be used to capture frames as if it wasn't a movie. So I'm a really big fan of cinematography, for example. Like when I see a really cool shot in a movie, I go, wow, I want to create something like this. Like, and there's obviously like the rules of like art and how to frame and how to make a composition, all that type of stuff. And I think movies and photography kind of really help me as an illustrator to capture like those frames that I want to capture. And hence why I decided to be a photography minor, because it would be important for my work in the future that I would be able to capture these frames that I want to create myself and then create it into an art piece. So the things that I really gravitate towards, for example, would be people. I love painting and drawing people. I try not to paint myself very often, but with what I have in college, sometimes I can only paint myself. I like painting other people though. One thing that I really also like painting is landscape, specifically cityscape. I'm a really big fan of like sci-fi, futuristic kind of like approaches and you know, that kind of genre. So I really gravitate towards that as well. A lot of my illustrations recently have been based in New York City. And then also like I like working with color now. Like how I said that, you know, I didn't like working with it before. I really like working with it now, because it's like you could use color to convey so many different emotions and moods out of a piece. So that's also one thing that I look at cinematography out, is how they frame things, but also how they color grade things. And that color grading is so important to the scene, because it really solidifies what this scene is supposed to convey. Like, is it supposed to be happy? Is it supposed to be upsetting or bittersweet? Or is it supposed to represent something unknown? And I really take those ideas into account and then put it into my work, and kind of say like, these things need this certain color, these things need this certain color, because then now my piece conveys the mood that I want it to convey. And so those are definitely the things that I'd say really helps me out with, you know, kind of the art I gravitate towards. But it really there are so many like options out there for me to count, because I can like things here and there. But That's the best way I can explain it to you.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult.
And that was a great way, and kind of, we all love movies, and movies, I would always say, like, film is I consider to be the highest form of art because it combines all of art.
Mm-hmm.
And, from a visual perspective, from a writing perspective, from a, live performance theater perspective, and kind of pulling from movies is such a profound way to paint and to illustrate, and of course do photography, like what you do, and to continue to talk about filming. I kind of wanted to ask you, Jason, to kind of tell us a bit about what you do for Liberty with your videography.
Yeah, awesome. So basically, I work at the Liberty Champion newspaper. That's what it's called. And pretty much my job is to pretty much just go around campus, find something that's like somewhat interesting to me, and then just take a video of it, edit it, and then send it over. But I kind of like to have like a little bit of versatility when it comes to my job. Like I like obviously like I do sports a lot. That was like my majority thing. But like that was like also like my first semester. So I'm trying to like kind of like brainstorm some like things I want to do next semester because I definitely want to branch out. But definitely for that job, I've gotten a lot of really great opportunities. Like I can travel. I'm actually able to travel a lot more, and because they cover my travel costs, so I was able to go to North Carolina for pretty much nothing. And they just like basically just paid me to go out there during the school day and then just shoot the basketball game for them and then just edit it myself, bring it around back, and pretty much like that type of thing. Just like go around, find what's interesting, and then just kind of make a story out of it. Yeah.
So you fit in really well at Q30, which is what I'm a part of, which does a lot in terms of entertainment and sports, and it was just great that you were able to kind of get these opportunities to be able to expand your horizons.
Absolutely,
man. Sorry, you can continue.
No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna actually ask you a question. So you were talking about how you wanted to, kind of branch off of like the videos that you create. So like how you're mainly doing sports now. I wanted to ask you to like elaborate on like the things that you would also like to do outside of like sports.
Okay, so like pretty much like outside of sports, I feel like I kind of like have fun with like looking at like other campus activities that are going on. Like I know like my job will like ask of me to like do like certain ones like here and there. Like I think like the year before me, the girl Anna Lunt, she was the previous digital media producer, which is my job, and pretty much what she would shoot is I completely left that out. I other than sports, I actually shot plays as well. And during the school year, that was another one. I don't know how I forgot that. But a few of the plays I shot during the year is I shot Snow White. I'm pretty sure. I think that's what it was. Although I might be wrong. And I shot that and a couple others here and there, and it was actually really cool. I'd be staying out like late nights. Like sometimes I think I'd get back to the dorm at like I think like 12:30 a few nights, like here and there, just because like the play like starts at like probably like 8 o'clock and then ends at like 11:30. So like I'd be like so tired when I ever come back to the dorm, and then I wouldn't even worry about editing that day. Like I'm already burned out just from like all the shooting and stuff. But it was always such a great time, and basically just like branched from there. And then I just like basically just like plan out the rest of my week. I was like, all right, I'll get this edit done today, and then I'll get ready for another one. Just pretty much just keep doing that over and over and over. But just branching back to like the topic, I guess a few things you could say I'd want to do next semester would maybe be I guess more activities based of like what's going around campus, but also videography like for other people for my job. Like my friend Emery, she is the social media editor for my job, and I actually helped her like for the last week of school with shooting the Opinion Fridays is what we call it, which is it's a really fun segment. I definitely recommend you guys watch it. And basically what the whole thing about Opinion Fridays was pretty much just ask students on campus just like any question that you'd have, and just like basically just like get everyone's opinions on it. And it would give some really fun answers here and there. Like we did a Christmas edition one, and it was pretty much about like people like what age you found out when like Santa was or wasn't real. And
wait, he's not real?
Yeah, we get some really funny answers for that one, and it was just so much fun. And just from doing this that week, like editing it and everything, just like shooting it, I just had so much fun with it. So I guess I could say that like I definitely wanted to do some more stuff that like involved, I guess, I guess like student oriented rather than just like sports, like which is more general. Like I feel like I want to kind of like involve like more like the students on campus because there's like students that like come from like all over the world. Like I have one friend, he's from South Dakota, but he's actually was born in Africa.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah, he has a wild story. That's my boy Vic Becker, like back at college. You guys can check him out. He's a great guy.
I follow him.
Yeah,
Follows me.
His dude's quite the G. But yeah,
Nice.
just like stuff like that because people are just like, honestly, it's people in general, like especially in college, like everyone just has like a crazy story. Like either it's a story or there's like crazy personalities I've just like figured out over the years.
I mean, everyone has a story.
That is true.
The show,
That is true, bro.
So would you say that you like videographing like people?
Yeah, I'd say something like that.
And would that be like the main thing that you would like to just branch out on?
I'd say I'd probably combine, like still do a little bit of sports here and there, like for like people that like it, and then for like honestly, like, but also like do like other stuff like student oriented.
Yeah, I could see you maybe dabbling a bit in documentary filmmaking.
Oh yeah, for
perhaps
sure.
as you continue it, and it's great that you're both like learning how to do covering sports, which also helps you to cover news, so sort of similar territory, and then maybe you could go into documentary or narrative filmmaking because there really is so many techniques that go into both, and documentaries are stories in themselves.
Absolutely.
So it's great that you're learning so much, and
it's crazy.
And this podcast could be a good resource too, because I've chatted with so many film majors who are a lot like yourself, who do similar things and are learning similar things.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And kind of on that same note, because you do a lot of videos for this as well, I wanted to ask you a bit about your lifting account and kind of what led to your fitness journey in general.
All right, so I'll start from the part about like how the whole journey started. So basically, all the way until freshman year of college, I was a track runner for distance mostly. So basically, the thing with distance runners is that we were just our bodies are more built to like run long distances, and it was great. I loved doing it for years. But like the only thing is that I don't have the genetics for like someone that's like just you could just run but also be strong at the same time. I was just only built for running. Anything that had lifting oriented, I just either didn't like it or I was just completely weak. And it would always be like a thing like in my family, like here and there. Like I remember like I was never bothered by it, but I just remember like my mom would used to like always joke around with me like when I was doing track, she always like called me little chicken legs and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, I'm so skinny. And like my brother like here and there, like he still shows me like photos of like years back, like all the way probably maybe like freshman year of high school, and I didn't realize like how small I actually was. And yeah, so basically it just started from there. Like I'd say like the main purpose of it was just the fact is to feel stronger, like what it means to like feel strong, which is something I hear in like a lot of the animes. Like me and Harrison always collab on anime stuff all the time. And yeah, I just say like I just really just want to become stronger, but also just have something better to do in my day than just like play video games all the time. Because like you just get to like a certain point where like certain things like just watching TV and just kind of like lounging around, like there's nothing wrong with that. But it just kind of gets to the point where it just doesn't feel that good anymore. Yeah. So I just kind of like found like an outlet with this like this like lifting and just like just getting that like stimulus of just coming back like 1% better. Exactly. And that just really just sparked it, and that pretty much like leads into like the whole lifting account thing. So pretty much my freshman year of college was, I guess you could say, like my first year of like real lifting was, because I did like a little bit here and there in high school, but I never like stuck to it. I stuck to it for maybe like 2 months at most, and then I just like stopped. But it pretty much started in like junior year of like pretty much the whole COVID pandemic thing. It started like the peak of that. I had nothing to do in my day, so I just be like sitting around, just kind of like figure out what was going on. I'd say it was probably like, when it happened again, it was like, I think January was when we got shut down. Was that it?
From high school? Yeah. More March.
Right?
Yeah, March.
I think
something like that. Yeah.
March 12th.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Early
March 12th in my head. That's when I remember high school.
Yeah.
High school getting
it was like a whole crazy day. Like the whole thing was happening. Like I remember like I remember at least like me and Harrison was at my table that day. And I remember, like, we're all just, like, joking about the fact, it's like, oh, yeah, there's, like, this little thing, like, COVID going on. It's like, it's not going to do anything. Like, we'll probably be, like, shut down school. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Kids were celebrating.
Yeah, exactly. We're out, like, celebrating. Like, everyone's going crazy. Like, dude, this is going to be insane. Like, I'd say, like, one of the funniest things of that day was, I think right before they shut down the school for the day, I saw a kid like literally just like chuck a garbage can across the room. Like it was wild, and it was quite a memorable day. But yeah, pretty much from there, let's like going back on topic, was in like the midst of like the pandemic, I was just trying to figure out something to do with my day because I'd be playing video games like all the time, pretty much just trying to like pass the time. And so I'd be like playing with the boys like Harrison and them, Marcus on like Paladins all the time, enjoying myself. And then I realized that like as soon as that happened, I didn't really know what else to do. So I just started pretty much just doing like bodyweight stuff in my garage, just kind of working out there. And that just went from one thing to completely something different because I basically did that for about a year and a half to 2 years. College, I kind of actually started getting into lifting a little bit more, kind of like playing around with it. My boy Andrew, shout out to him. He got me into like the whole lifting business because he'd been doing it for years. And yeah, it pretty much just went from there. So freshman year, I was pretty much just getting into the gym. I was trying to still like figure things out if I want to stick with it or not. It really just started just like middle of sophomore year. It was like as soon as I came back, I don't know what it was, but like maybe it was some kind of like Rocky motivation got into me, but like I just started hitting the gym like hard, and I had probably never seen as much gains as I had until then. When I actually like started like taking my workout seriously, trying to like actually work on dieting a little bit more. I'm never like a stickler with like trying to like eat like the most like balanced diet, even though I probably should. But you know, we're young. It's okay. It's all right to like splurge a little bit here and there. But yeah, my boy Andrew, back to him again. He's actually the one that told me to start it. So pretty much, I remember Andrew. He couldn't come back for like this coming year. But I remember that we were like talking like about like I guess you could say like that's this past summer we were like talking for like a while, just like trying to like figure out. I was like, oh maybe I should start this lifting account. I was like I don't know. That's pretty much what I was thinking. I was like I'm not really sure about it. I was like I'll start it eventually. I kept telling him that. I see like probably went on for about like 6 months. I was like telling him I was gonna do it, and then I'd say it was about April of this year, it rolled around, and I was pretty much just saying like, you know what, you know what, life is short. Like, might as well try something and either fail rather than try something rather than not try something and just never find out. So that's I'd say I don't remember the exact date, so it was probably like closer to like April 30th was the first day I like launched my lifting account. Obviously, you know, like the homies, like the shout out to the homies out here, my boys Ryan, Harrison, like everybody back home, all the way over at Liberty as well. Everybody was like hitting me up with the support and stuff. It started out as something that's like really small, as I was kind of like doing like here and there, you know, so doing like a simple like montage of just like a lift and stuff like that. I was very nervous behind the camera because at the gym it could be like kind of nerve wracking because as I didn't mention before, but I was a very quiet kid, like especially growing up. But you know, life changes, people change too. So I was starting to get into it a little bit, and I'd say like over time it's just doing that like trial and error, just trying over and over again, of just taking one video after another and just like putting it up on Instagram. Like it could be something as small as that. Like it actually did like a crazy like change in me because I basically went from like being like very uncomfortable like doing like shooting like all that stuff in the gym, just pretty much just like it was almost like second nature to me. And I just started to like build up confidence in myself, just really just I guess like not start dominance obviously, but kind of like in that way of like just confidently going into the gym, it's like knowing go shoot something and not being scared if I mess up a little bit. Like I'd pretty much just go in there with authority and just like walk in, shoot my videos, and then pretty much walk out. And yeah, I basically just started from one thing to another, and yeah, I just built up from I started out as like obviously like the 0 subscribers from April, and now I'm all the way up to 238 followers, just crazy to me. Oh, I've never thought I made it this far, but you know what? Stuff happens, and you know, hard work makes profit. Yeah.
Exactly. And your videos are always very well edited, very well shot.
I appreciate it.
The music you put with it, the other references from movies.
Yep.
Like you've referenced Dead Poet Society.
Yep.
Of course, Rocky, and other animes and stuff. So you just put so much into it, and I've always appreciated that. And of course, fitness in general is just so good.
Oh yeah.
For you mentally, helping to build discipline, giving you a purpose. Because of course, my brother You know, he's training to be a physical therapist, and he's a big gym rat. I know you've seen him.
Oh
at
yeah,
the gym.
all the time.
I think he's spotted you, right? Or you?
I spotted him. Yeah, I was on
You've
the incline
spotted him.
bench. I still remember.
Yeah, yeah, and like and you or him, and of course you have motivated me to go to the gym whenever I can.
That's what we do.
As well, and that's been something big for me as well, and it's definitely helped me mentally. I'm sure it's helped you, and it's just an incredible thing, and it's also a way for you, of course, to showcase your own filmmaking skills and to kind of make something that we all can enjoy. And
oh yeah,
you talk about your follower count. I have you on 3 different pages.
Yeah, baby.
I know Harrison has his different art pages as well.
Yeah.
As well, he follows you on. Then I know you're on your road to 1,000.
Yes, we are.
Followers, and I have very much faith that you'll get there.
Hey, we got it, baby.
I know you will get there.
Oh yeah, bro. Yes, sir. As David Goggins said, stay hard, guys.
Stay hard.
Keep
hard,
going.
guys.
Keep going, baby.
Just to mention, I love your thumbnail for every one of your reels.
Oh yeah,
it's always a buffed up anime person.
Oh, I love it, dude. Dude, I just love us having like a good time with it, cause like I know like I don't always get like the crazy like viewer count like everyone else gets. So it's like some people's get like 1 million followers in like one day is like something crazy like that. I just like lifting in general. I just love to just like enjoy myself, just kind of like, especially like being myself is just like something I'd like to say like I really hold very much accountable, because I see like a lot of people in the industry is like they might act like a certain way on the camera, but they're completely different like off camera, and there's like nothing wrong with that. But there's like other instances where they can be like they act nice, but it's just to get followers out of it. But like in like reality, they could be like a terrible person.
Yeah,
like,
and kind of like your account is like fitness in general. It's a slow grind.
Yeah, man.
And you're not gonna get abs in one day. You know, can go to the gym once and get abs. So it's kind of just something you have to be consistent with. You always have to stick with, and it pays dividends. Like you're continuing to get more and more followers, more and more attention. That's what you want. And the same with like Harrison, you and your art. You know, sometimes people might not appreciate it when you first start, but over time, it can grow on people.
Exactly.
Yeah, as long as you continue to improve.
I think it's a really good reflection on you. Like your account is your account, and you're kind of just like showcasing you being you, and like you had a great mention that it really reflects on your like your personal interest of like film and like filming yourself. And I think it's such a great way to do it. And I just, you know, I get like a lot of like Insta reels here and there, and some of them are the like occasional gym rat. And you know, I think what really interests me is how yours is just already you, and not just because I already have known you for like the past like more than 10 years, but because it's like the way you created it and the way like you put it all together is like such a you thing, and it really distincts from other people, and I think that's what makes it special. And which is why I'm praying that you do make it to 1,000 followers very soon, because I know you can definitely do it.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. And exactly, and it just reflects all your qualities on your fitness page, and like we talked about, it is very you. And you're very, you know, it's funny, it's wholesome, it's inspiring. That's kind of, and and it's only gonna go up and up and up.
Yes, sir, baby.
And I also, so kind of to continue on, I kind of wanted to ask you, Harry, about some of the trips you've been on, and kind of what they've taught you, because I know you've been very worldly in recent times. So I'd like to ask you a bit about that.
Yeah, I've been a bit of a heavy traveler for at least, you know, last year. I was never really a big traveler until like I'd say college, and that's just because like my family just never does any trips, nor have I really gone out on my own to like do these kind of trips before. And just to mention that most of these trips are not just based on like me like going for an art purpose. It's mostly just like a trip. But I think something that all these trips really taught me was to like find like an artistic value about everything that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, like I do photography and I like always bring my camera just about everywhere. So I feel like these trips have taught me to really just shoot everything, because you never know what you're gonna get out of that shoot, because one or two of those shots are gonna be so good. Like, especially like if you have like a portfolio of shots, or you're you know, you want to go somewhere based on like the type of things you shoot. And so like, for example, how I said I like talking about cityscape, a main trip that I've gone to just about every year since 2022 is New York City. The first time I went with my girlfriend, and it was because I wanted to shoot photos actually of the city, and you know, kind of learn about street photography and like how cool it is to just shoot something spontaneous, and kind of like learn how to like color grade and edit on the way there. So New York City is a really big place that I go to for inspiration. Our college also does a like annual bus trip. I think every semester. It's a $10 bus trip, so you chip in $10, you get a ticket, and then you spend a day going to New York City, pretty much doing whatever you want. The bus trip is focused on going to, however, the Met, and I'm sure you guys know what that is, or the MoMA, and when the bus trip happens, I attend to see, like, to go there, to see the art that people have created and that became famous, and then hope that it, you know, kind of like inspires me. So that's a big thing that happens as well. A couple of trips that I've been to recently too was Florida. So I went to West Palm, and I also went to Miami for a day. That was a really fun approach to kind of get my artistic approach of things, you know, because New York City is so much different than like Miami. And so like when you're shooting photos, I feel like you're taking different approaches at different locations that you're at. So, you know, Miami, you're talking about the beach, you're talking about like a tropical area. So how would you like to portray a tropical area versus portraying a giant, you know, bustling city? Yeah, you know what I mean? And even another trip that I went to Quebec, specifically Montreal, that area. It's like even Montreal is different than those two cities, is you know, and being in Quebec, that's a French-Canadian province, so, you know, people there are vastly different than, you know, the people that we're surrounded by and all that type of stuff. And it was so much fun being there, because now instead of worrying about just like cityscapes, like compared to West Palm, Miami, New York, now I'm more concerned about how I want to view nature, because a lot of the places that I went to when I was down at Quebec was like national parks, I'd say. So I went to areas with like waterfalls. I went to a really cool mountain that was just completely off the grid. It was like a Buddhist temple area. And you know, kind of just being one with nature is extremely like meditating. So it's like, you know, me bringing my camera around, how do I want to view this memory in comparison to this memory? And they're all gonna have their own compositions, they're all gonna have their own framings, not just because, you know, it's a different place, but because you kind of want to treat it differently. And I think that's what makes all the trips that I've been to just so much fun to be to. And this year, I'm really hoping to make it another big year for going, you know, out of state to see all these new places and what I want to do with them in terms of photography and all that type of stuff. So one of the things that I have mentioned to you guys before is that I am going to Boston in February. And I am going with my girlfriend again. So we are going to be there to take pictures. So, you know, Boston's a big city for, you know, the Bay Area and all like the seafood kind of stuff. So it's like, what do I want to do with that? Another thing that, another thing that I have planned this year is that I am going to France with my cousins, possibly as either a spring break trip, aka I might have to take a week off of school for that. It's gonna be either that or it's gonna be during the summer. And you know, that's a whole different country. So, you know, that's gonna be fun to see with a new like aesthetic view. And then the last thing that I want to mention is about studying abroad. And my dream is to study abroad for at least one semester. And as an illustrator, if you're in the art school, your senior year is definitely the best year to do that, especially your fall semester. So next fall, I'll be hoping to go to Italy, specifically Florence. And Florence is a really big city for art, especially with all the art programs that they have over there. So, you know, I'm going to be worrying about, like, urban culture, like, you know, the different kind of architecture that is there, the different kind of energy of being in a place that feels so urban, so surreal, with these natural landscapes that are completely different than, you know, U.S. landscape. And it's kind of just going to be a fun experience because, you know, everything has an artistic approach to it. And from what I'm getting at all these places, it kind of just gives me a broader idea of like how many things you could actually do from these places and then like inspire your artwork. So like I talked about composition, framing, colors and all of that. I feel like every place kind of teaches you a different way that you could do all of those. And that's kind of what I hope to gain from it, for sure.
Because just like how everyone has a story, everywhere has a story too.
Right.
And you're able to tell that story through your lens and through your drawings. And my mom's a travel agent. Shout out Susan Ziaks. And we've traveled a lot over the years as well. And that's given us a lot of great experiences and a lot of great insight into other places. So if you guys, anyone watching ever needs a travel agent, hit her up. But that's great to hear, Harry. And I know that especially for what you're doing and kind of what we're doing, it helps so much to be able to see different places and see the world from different lenses. And kind of talking about seeing things from different lenses, I want to ask you guys things that people may not know about either of you. Some kind of fun facts that might not meet the eye.
Okay.
It's a hard question.
It is a
really hard question.
That's a really good question. See, it's always like questions like this. Like I'm always like good at answering, like at a random part of the day. Like it'll just like come back to me. Like I'll go to bed, go to bed or something like that, and it just like comes back to me. Like it's like, oh, I got my answer now. Like I'm always like terrible with like things like on the spot.
Yeah, no worries.
I guess I'll say one of the things that I'd say people wouldn't think I am, but I actually am. Or maybe the other way around, that people will probably see this is me, but I'm very much a perfectionist with like my artwork and all that type of stuff. Hence, which is one reason why I work so slow is because, you know, every little dot that is on the board that you're drawing on or painting on matters so much to me. And I feel like it's one of those things where it really benefits me because then it means that I just have a good eye for things. But it's also like not beneficial because now it just means that maybe I'm taking into account that something might not be good enough when other people might think that it is. And so that's one of the things that I really struggle with, is when to be a perfectionist now. Is like, you know, with all my artworks now, especially with the busy semester that I've had, I've kind of gotten this approach where, you know, I feel like I should be a perfectionist at things that I am going to treat with the utmost respect and care the most about it, and then leave some artworks on the side and be like, I'm going to finish this until it's good enough, rather than until it seeks to my standard. Because, you know, I've kind of learned that sometimes you really have to just get things done. And that's one of the things that I'm really trying to be better at, is when to know when to be that perfectionist in me, even though I would obviously want to be it all the time. And going along with that, I guess something that people might not know, just because when I'm around people I try to keep a positive energy, I'm very stubborn. So I will like have extremely high standards for myself, because, you know, if something isn't right, then I'm obviously going to get mad about it, because then it's just like I've been working maybe on this one part for like 3 hours and it's still not looking good, and then you know, I might end up like losing my mind. But I'm also very stubborn about my artwork. And I'm also very honest. Like, and it's not honest in like a negative way. Like, there's a difference between being honest versus like just being a jerk about something. Like, being an honest person is obviously being straightforward with something, but also like honesty kind of helps people rather than do nothing about it. Like, if you're saying something to someone that's like honest but it doesn't help them, then that's going to be rude. If you're saying something that's honest that is going to help somebody, then I think that's going to, you know, be beneficial for them to grow.
Yeah.
And so not to get off topic there a little bit, but just going back, like, I think me being an honest person is also beneficial for the people that I'm around, because in the art school, a lot of the things that you're doing is critiquing other people's work. And, you know, it's not to obviously be a jerk about people's work, whether, you know, sometimes it might look bad or sometimes it'll like be a little iffy, but rather, you know, kind of to help people. And so I really like to help people, but it's something that I don't do every day because I'm obviously not a really big talker. And that's something that I really hope to really improve on as well, is kind of like being more honest about things to help other people without having to be rude about it. And even like to you guys as well. So like, you know, when you come up to me and you're like coming up with these prompts and all that type of stuff from, you know, during the summer that we wanted to do, you know, I was being very honest about things that I like, but things that could be fixed maybe, or something that you might think about like my point of view and maybe it could help yours. Something maybe Jason as well with like your fitness account. I know sometimes you come to me for those video edits and you're like, hey, do you think this is good enough? Hey, do you think like this is like, you know, nice? Do you think I should just like put it out there?
Exactly.
And you would ask me for feedback. So I would be like, okay, I like the things that you're doing here. Maybe do this instead because maybe it might be better. So I'm really trying to do more of that in hopes that it does benefit the other person, as I hope it would like benefit you guys. You know what I mean? So and maybe me like 1 or 2 years ago, like I wouldn't have done this to you guys. Like, if you guys asked me for, like, an opinion on something, I probably would have just said it's nice and just go along with it because I didn't want to be rude about something that you've created. But it's like, I've really started to really dive in to not be judgmental about things, right? But to have more of a keen eye in hopes that it helps other people grow. And even if I don't have, like, the same, like, background as you, like, obviously I'm no writer, you know, I'm no filmmaker, like, that you, like, the stuff that you do. I'm no, like, video editor. I don't really do video. I do photography, you know? Exactly. So it's like, but sometimes it's nice to get other people's feedback and use it to make yourself a better person. And so I guess one of the things that I would like to point out is just me being an honest person, and it's never out of, like, just being rude about something. It's just more of, like, I want to help people, and I think that's something that a lot of other people should do as well.
Yeah. And kind of, you know, telling a story is telling a story.
Yeah.
And across different mediums, that requires different things, but if you have an artistic eye, I feel like you can figure it out.
Absolutely.
And I think, like, everyone kind of has an artistic approach to anything because it's like everyone likes certain things. Obviously, you know, some people, like we've discussed already, you know, some people are not going to like things here and there. We obviously might be different opinions about something and not like these certain things. But I feel like everyone could benefit from that, to know that, you know, people are different and people are obviously going to like different things. Now, how do you put it together and make it good for nearly everyone? You know what I mean? Because you're never going to get like an 100% like success rate. And just even between you guys, like, I think it is so cool that all of us have that artistic approach to different genres. We mentioned this before. Like, I'm a photographer, I'm an illustrator, I do painting, I do drawing, you do filmmaking, you do some photography too, you do video editing. That's a whole different art concept. You do, you know, writing, you do filmmaking, like
even
directing, acting. Like, these are all so many different branches of just art. But even though it's all different branches, it all just goes back to being an artistic person. And, you know, obviously, even though we are out here doing like an artist thing, that just goes to show that, you know, everyone has like an artistic eye for different things. And I think that's extremely valuable to, you know about people.
Yeah. And you're real. Because kind of like what you said, and constructive criticism is always so important. And, you know, you talk about being a perfectionist. I mean, a lot of passionate people are like that. A lot of really competitive people are like that. And you want to hold yourself to high standards and meet those standards or exceed them. And it's great that someone shows personality traits for this question. Usually people choose like a hobby that people don't know about them. So I'm glad you chose that personality traits and then dived into them like you did.
Of course.
And since Harrison talked for a while, so maybe gave you some time.
He gave me some good ideas though.
So maybe, and be open to talk about a personality trait or a hobby or anything people might not know about you.
Yeah, of course.
Be interesting.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because in a similar-ish way, I'm kind of similar to Harrison where he's talking about honesty. My family can definitely testify. There's that, especially growing up, I was a very honest person. Sometimes a little too honest. Like, my mom would be like asking me like a few questions here and there, and like I'd be like way too honest with her. It's like, all right, hold back a little bit. But yeah, like I feel like that's just always something that's always resonated with me. Is just always just being like real with people. Like I always say, is like just be real. Because I feel like just kind of like shortchanging like the other person if you're just kind of like leaving something out that should be said. Because sometimes they could like determine whether they're gonna be like something great versus something that's like not so great. So like whenever like sometimes like some of my friends are talking to me, or like maybe like even like my family members, like here and there, like I'll have like people like asking me like what to do for like fitness or something like that, and I'll literally just be straight up like obviously I'll know like not to be like rude and stuff like that and just completely just like tear them down. But like sometimes you just gotta say what needs to be said, and just like I was like literally telling them was like it could literally be fitness doesn't have to be that complicated. Just keep it simple. Don't like make yourself go crazy over it. Just keep it simple, and then just love what you do. And I just like to keep it real like that. Like I don't really like to kind of like leave things out, because like I feel like you're just kind of like leaving them some progress or something like that. It was kind of like,
yeah, and you never want to hurt anyone's feelings.
oh yeah, of course.
But through constructive criticism, people, and there's also to other people, you just have to take that and understand kind of where you're coming from when you kind of help someone out, especially in terms of fitness, where like weightlifting, if you do a certain exercise wrong, you could really hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So it's always great that you guys are real people.
Yeah, of course.
Never be fake.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man.
No reason.
It's all about being real, bro.
Yeah. There's enough. Let's be real. There's enough fake people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And to kind of be real to others, and to kind of try to understand others, which is why I have a show like this. It's just so important.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'd say like, it's obviously a thing with me being real, but I'm also kind of like enjoy to think deeply about things as well. That's another quality about myself. I at least like remember like definitely in high school, and we were reading like a lot more books like Dead Poet Society, like stuff like that, and I think like Scarlet Letter is another one. I just, something about it is like I just really like to like delve deeper into like the meaning of something, while like maybe like a couple of my other classmates just kind of like read the book just to get through the class and stuff. But like it's just something about just like looking deeper into something is to realize that it's like something so much more than just a book, or maybe there's just a movie. And that's like something that's just really taken off, because like I feel like I've seen that with like all of us here and there. Like we're able to like whether it's art, whether it's a movie, whether it be like the gym or something like that, you can make something like so simple become something that's like actually like legendary. Like you can make something go from like 1 to like 100 like super easily if you think like deeply about it. And that's just something that's just always been like just something that's huge in my life, and just like thinking it's like maybe there's like something else behind this. Maybe there's like another purpose for this. And honestly, that's also like taught me a lot of lessons, as well as just like deeply thinking into movies like Dead Poet Society. Like I can't think off the top of my head, but it's just like I remember, I think one of Robert Williams' quotes in the movie was "Seize the day," and
Carpe diem.
Yeah, carpe diem, seize the day, and that's just something that's always resonated with me. Is like it's like such a small phrase, but it can mean so much if you really just think about it and just like kind of like put it into practice.
Yeah,
so,
and that's kind of like what we look for in storytelling to achieve a higher level of existence. And I've always felt that like philosophy and fitness kind of can go hand in hand. You know, average male in their 20s,
yes, sir,
going to the gym and learning philosophy.
Yes,
but it really does help you, and it helps to kind of clear your mind and give you kind of deeper thoughts. And books help do that as well. That's why they've been around forever, and why we've read so many books. Because timeless thoughts, timeless ideas, timeless stories are timeless for a reason. Because they continue to inspire us years down the line, and they kind of continue to talk about stories. I kind of wanted to ask you guys for some of your favorite anime or film franchises.
Favorite anime? I can name one off the bat.
What you got?
Oh, you know what I got.
I
want to give it a guess.
Class of the Elite?
No, dude.
Oh wait. Demon Slayer.
No. Good one.
Attack on Titan.
There you go.
Yeah. How did I leave that one out?
I was about to say that should be your first.
Yeah, man. I was like,
that's the one.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah, Attack on Titan is a big name for anime. Demon Slayer, like you mentioned, is a really big name. JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen, it's also a really big one right now.
Check it out, guys.
Yeah, definitely best of the new gen right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Chainsaw Man's really good.
Dude, it's so funny.
There's too many. There's so many. Those are just
There's
like
a
the
lot.
big names. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I think me and Jason have watched one too many for naming all of them.
You introduced me to it, so
I did.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, if it's okay, it's like just like branch off a little bit. It's like,
Oh, feel free.
Yeah. So basically, the first anime I ever saw in my life was Dragon Ball Z, which a lot of people can probably relate to. But that was the only one I saw going into high school. Was it high school or middle school when you first showed me? It was a Scott. I think we were watching Demon Slayer that night. Was that middle school? Wait, no, it was high school. It was
might be high school.
Sophomore year, because I remember it was homecoming, and there's in the
Yes, I remember.
yeah. I remember now. So basically, the whole story was how I got introduced to anime was I saw Dragon Ball Z beforehand, but that was like the only very much the baseline for it. And I remember me and the boys, it was like me, Harrison, and Scott, one of our other friends. We were just hanging out at homecoming one night, just expecting it to be a good time. It was not. It was very boring.
This was
middle school, yeah, right? Oh,
I think it was high school.
This was the sophomore one, because I remember that the sophomore one was the most boring homecoming.
It was.
So it was you, me, and Scott, and we all kind of dipped because it was just that bad.
Yeah.
So
Scott's dad just randomly pulled up and just like picked us up, and we just went to his house.
And so we went to his house. But going back,
so like basically, and that's also like pretty much the day I like met Scott as well, because I remember I never really hung out with Scott like much before. Like I was kind of like said like what's up to him in the hall and stuff like that, but I never like actually got to know him. And pretty much that night, I actually got to know like a little bit of his family as well, because as soon as we got in the car, they started playing Rasta music, which really like shocked me. Because as you guys don't know, I'm actually half Jamaican, and that was like I always hear that stuff like all the time, because that's from my dad's side, so he always plays that stuff like during the summer. I hear it at my grandparents all the time. So as soon as he started playing that, I was like, whoa, wait, you guys listen to Rasta music? And so like I was already like connecting with the family and everything. And I don't remember what was going on, but I just remember I heard like Harrison and Scott, I think they're in the backseat, and they're just like laughing or something like that, because they're just talking about how they're gonna like show me something. It was like, yeah, Jay, buckle up, we're gonna show you something when we get to Scott's house. I was like, what are you guys gonna show me? It's like they're like, I was like kind of like freaking out a little bit.
What did we show you?
Yeah, it was so once you get to Scott's house, very very nice place. We got into Scott's basement, and I'd say Scott has like one of the most insane basements I've ever seen. Like it was wild down there. But yeah, we sit
man cave. Basically.
Yeah, legit. Like literally like a dream man cave. Like it was insane. But yeah, we like go downstairs, and then we just like kind of sit down. I was kind of just like chilling out. I was like, oh, maybe we're just gonna watch some TV or something like that. These dudes just like put on, I think was it Demon Slayer or was it Dororo? It was like one of the two.
I don't remember.
I think we saw them both on the same night.
I think we saw both of that, and then if I'm correct, didn't we introduce you to Food Wars as well?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh boy. Yeah. So basically, like it was that night I was introduced to anime, and I have never turned back. And yeah, that was like also like a crazy experience for me, because I seen Dragon Ball Z, like it's just a little bit gory, like nothing really crazy. Dororo like completely shook me off guard. Like it was like saw like a whole like village getting like massacred in like the first like 5 minutes or something like that. Like I can't remember if it was a village, but I just remember it was like a really like gory scene in the beginning. I was like, whoa, that's a lot that's happening. But it honestly did like it like phased me at first, but like kind of like the more I watched it and like watching other stuff, I was like, this is actually fire. This is actually so cool. And that's like another thing that really got me more into deep thinking, is just like animes they take deep thinking to like a whole nother level. Like Attack on Titan, like especially, like that is the most like mind twisting anime I probably have ever seen. And yeah, I'd say like I recommend like anybody watch it, because if you like plot twist, well let's just say
it's like the whole show is like a foreshadow.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's a trip, bro. But
it's
yeah,
one of the main reasons why it's my personal favorite anime of all time. It's just
which would make a rewatch very rewarding, because then you know the things.
Because now you just know what everything is and what things just put together. Yeah. And I've rewatched this anime at least 3 times.
Yep. As you should.
So it's like when you start picking up things here and there, it's so satisfying to like pick it up, because it's like, oh, so this is why this is this. This is why this is that. Like it's so cool to just watch it all come together. Yeah. And that doesn't even just go for Attack on Titan, even though obviously like that's like the main one we talk about in terms of that plot twist, foreshadowing and all that type of stuff, without giving the premise of it away. Like a lot of animes do this. Just one whole reason why me and Jay are like so interested in anime. I understand that some people, might not find something like that like too crazy, maybe because of the art style, or maybe because they were very much introduced in the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
Like some people.
Gotta be careful with that.
Rob was, our friends was one of
Yeah.
that person.
Oh
who
no.
got the wrong anime for the first time they watched it,
That's tough.
and it was Konosuba. Do you remember that?
Oh, I just finished that one actually. It's really funny,
It's
but
so funny.
that's not
It's
good
so
for a
funny,
beginner.
but it's not good for a beginner.
Yeah, it's
But
not like
it's
it's bad,
a-
but
it's
it's crazy.
It's a show of comedy. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely a comedy for sure.
But yeah, that's pretty much what we got for animes, right?
Pretty
So how about
much.
film?
Oh, films. Okay.
I could
Like franchises
Mm-hmm.
for this question specifically.
franchises.
Yeah.
Ooh, franchise. Ooh,
That's a hard one then.
And then I'll ask.
Oh,
Ooh,
And then
this one for now.
specific films.
Yeah.
Franchises. Dark Knight series.
dang! I was gonna say that one.
Dark Knight series is really good.
And you are Batman.
I am Batman. You're also Batman.
I'm Batman.
You're
I'm
also
I'm
You're
also
Batman.
Batman,
We're all Batman.
dude. And hey, guess what? We're also
We're
Ryan
all
Gosling.
defending. We're all defending our city.
We're
It's
defending
12 a.m. hits.
Yes, sir. Ryan Gosling by day, Batman by night.
Maybe both. I
Mm.
drive.
I try.
So
That's true. To
But,
get to the Batcave, we must drive.
yeah,
Yes.
to bring it back. So yeah, the Dark Knight series is a huge series that I
Mhm.
really like. I think we all like Marvel some way or whatnot.
Yeah,
You know, Marvel
sure.
is a
Definitely growing up.
big one. Yeah.
Yep.
Star Wars as well.
Star Wars was a huge one. Personally, for me, the main one that I grew up with was actually not Star Wars or Marvel. It was Harry Potter.
Yes.
Mm.
Harry Potter was
Elite.
huge
Mhm.
for me, like the biggest like franchises.
Mm.
And it would be so. My addiction for Harry Potter was so much that I was literally called Harry Potter because my name is Harrison. And you just call me Harry for short, right? So it's like, that's literally all I heard in like elementary school.
Nice.
We had just to get a little off topic here, talking about Harry Potter for a second.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you were there, but do you remember how I think it was 3rd grade that everyone made a book,
Yes.
We made that book.
Yep.
and it was called Legoland, and everyone had their own
Dude.
story being in Legoland, whatever
Mhm.
version of Legoland that was in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
I made the cover for that
Mm.
book, which is
Based.
funny. And not only did I make the cover, my 1-page story of the Legoland was based on being in Lego Harry Potter,
Mm.
Dude.
and it was really fun
Mm.
to make
Mhm.
because that was like at a time, where as a kid, I wasn't really like any of you guys that really enjoyed writing or reading and all that type of stuff,
Mhm.
but I really enjoyed writing that.
Mhm.
And that was like the first time where I really think that I enjoyed like creative writing.
Mm.
But yeah, so enough of that. Harry Potter, just wanted to get that out there. That's like a really cool
Okay.
like
I mean, that's so nostalgic for me.
it is really
It
The
is.
nostalgic.
music, especially, and those games on the
Yeah.
Wii, the Lego
Mhm.
Oh,
Harry
I
Potter
had
games on the
had
Wii.
all of them too. That's how much of a Harry Potter addict I was.
Mm.
Yep.
I had all of the games. Lord of the Rings, bringing Harry
Mm.
Potter up, Lord of the Rings is one of the most iconic that you could definitely think
Oh
of.
yeah,
Ooh, Spider-Man, definitely.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yep.
Toby movies.
Yeah.
Really, and I
Yeah.
like all
of them honestly
Yeah.
are really well done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Franchises. I know this didn't really work well as like a movie, but just because I really liked it and it was, just still a fun movie. The Percy Jackson
I was-
series.
I knew
Yeah,
you were gonna
the
say
Percy
that.
Jackson
I knew you were
series.
gonna say that, yeah.
I
Like,
agree.
Even though it obviously wasn't like book accurate,
Yeah.
it was still a really fun movie
Yeah.
just
I loved
because
it,
it was
yeah.
like if it didn't have the book, it would still be a great movie. You
Yeah,
know what
for
I
sure.
mean? Like
Mhm.
if it wasn't because it had a book series to it, it would definitely be really
Yeah.
iconic for
Mhm.
sure.
For sure, bro.
I think those are the
Ooh,
names that come up.
I do
Indiana
remember
Jones,
another.
I'd say
Yeah.
maybe.
Indiana.
Those are really really good.
Maze Runner. Maze Runner is a
Maze
Interesting,
Runner.
yeah.
Maze Runner is. It was. I'd say it's honestly like a little bit like an underrated one. Like, it might not be like the best, like in terms of like filmmaking and all that stuff, but I'd say it was like a pretty entertaining movie with like how like the whole drama and like all the action was like oriented.
I think it was a really well done premise. So
Yeah.
speaking of what's it called? What you just said.
Maze Runner.
Maze Runner.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger Games.
Oh,
Really big one.
Yep. Can't figure that
Um,
one out.
Can't get away from that.
Mhm.
Probably I'd say obviously had some nooks here and there, but as for a dystopian franchise, probably one of the best for sure. Putting that in, Divergent series became a film franchise. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of like sci-fi and like dystopia and all that type of stuff. So I, look at those franchises a little bit.
Like Blade Runner as well.
Blade Runner. So I'll go back to that later when we talk about that. But Blade Runner's there.
It's me
for sure. But yeah, those are
excellent.
Ooh, I actually do got another one.
John Wick.
Yeah,
I love John Wick as well.
Wick.
Oh
Really
man, I
good
love
one.
that guy. Keanu, that's my guy.
Keanu's got that dog in him.
He really does.
Got the dog in him, bro. Yeah. Also, like going back to like childhood, Madagascar.
Madagascar.
Yep.
Oh, it's
great.
Yeah. So now we should go back to like animation. Madagascar was a big one. Kung Fu Panda was really big.
Toy
Cars.
Story.
Now we're
Toy
talking.
Story.
Pixar, just any Pixar.
Pixar DreamWorks. How to Train Your Dragon.
Yep.
Amazing.
An all-time favorite.
Yep.
There's so many. I wasn't too big on Shrek, but Shrek's there.
Okay.
You could put that
You should
there.
revisit it. I think you'd like it.
I liked a couple of them. I think there was a specific one I didn't like. I don't remember, but
It might be.
I
the
did
first
like
one,
Shrek. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I'd say like you should definitely revisit it because there's a lot of jokes that they sneak in there, and
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
it's
Yeah,
for like
no.
a children's movie, and they'd be like, "Whoa, wait, how's
How they?
that's crazy."
Yeah.
I find it awesome. They're making a Kung Fu Panda 4.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's
That's gonna be awesome.
my man Jack Black back at it again.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's Jack Black. Doesn't get any better than Jack
Jack Black.
Black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Also like his single movie that he had. It wasn't a franchise. It was just the movie itself. School of Rock.
School of Rock is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewatched that
Nice.
the other day.
Yeah.
Awesome movie.
For your birthday.
Yep.
Back in December.
Yep.
So other.
We're bringing all the throwbacks out. Right?
Yeah.
man. That's what I'm talking about.
Those are. Wow, we grew up with the prime time.
Some
For
incredible
real.
films.
Yep. The Incredibles.
Incredibles. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it really like animated films like we were kids.
Okay.
Pixar, DreamWorks. They were really
Yeah.
catching steam and momentum.
Say what you want, but I will defend Transformers with my life.
Oh man.
I will defend.
I mean, those were
Transformers
fun.
with my life.
I like Michael Bay movies.
I like Michael Bay movies. They were fun movies. They were meant to be fun movies.
Yep.
And you know what? That CGI and everything was
It's
amazing.
amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing even compared to today.
Yeah.
Where you
Facts.
see a lot of newer films with CGI that doesn't really quite.
Match
it-
up
ma-
to
yeah,
that
it
too.
doesn't match
Like,
up to
that's
that.
crazy.
And I think about like Michael Bay movies, you can say what you want about the substance or whatever, but if for big action movies, they always hit the mark,
They hit
Yep.
the mark.
and they're always just
And
big and
it's
crazy.
Yep.
it's nice because as like 10-year-old kids like us at the time,
Mhm.
all we wanted to see was the action.
Yeah.
So it's like
Big
it's still just a fun movie,
Yep. The voice
in the
acting,
end.
bro. Oh
Yo,
man.
Optimus Prime,
Dude. Oh man.
he had me ready to run through a wall.
Dude, for real, bro. It's like-
Yeah, no, I would have like done like I don't know. I would have died for that robot. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would have died for as soon as he hit the speech. I said, "It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
over.
It's Jover, bro.
It's Jover.
It's over."
Then you had Megan Fox. And
Oh yeah.
Bob
It's
were
like
huge.
every kid's
Every kid's
like,
idol there was Megan Fox.
Dude.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's crazy,
It
bro.
was really worth the days. And
Mhm.
I also kind of wanted to backtrack a bit. Jason, you talked about how you were introduced to anime, and really, that's just such a special thing.
It is.
Be able to share it with your friends and
Mhm.
be able to watch it with them. That's a great thing that I love about movies and art in general. It's just sharing it with a community and finding a community for it. That just enhances the experience so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
And to
yeah.
kind of move in a little, I want to ask you guys kind of about your favorite movies, like favorite movies specifically.
So,
Ooh.
like I said, I am a huge fan of cinematography.
Mhm.
And so the first person that I go to for cinematography is Chris Nolan movies.
Yep.
Always.
Mhm.
Probably personally my favorite director of all time. So my favorite movie of all time will always be Interstellar.
Mhm.
It not only got the science kid out of me, the kid who loves space out of me,
Mhm.
but it really, like how you said, you really love deep thinking.
Mhm.
That movie really got me on like such a deeper level and connection with like everything, and kind of just like my love for film in general. And that, I think that movie was what really made me like cinematography even more. So I definitely have to say that Interstellar for sure is my personal favorite movie of all time, along with another Chris Nolan movie, Inception. Is another
crazy.
big favorite of mine. Really huge fan of Oppenheimer. That was a masterpiece. That was definitely worth the like 3 hours that I was in there for.
Boom.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So of course we all saw Barbie together.
We all saw Barbie together, but we didn't
Masterpiece.
see Oppenheimer. You two saw it together, but I saw it with someone else because I couldn't come that day, if I remember.
Yeah, I think you were sick at the time.
Yeah, I was.
For Barbie or Oppenheimer?
For
Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah,
Because
Oppenheimer.
I came back from my trip to New York with a fever.
Yeah.
And like a coughing attack.
Yep.
And I just didn't want to like be coughing the entire like film, especially for like a biopic where
That's
you're really meant to be like quiet in that theater for. So I didn't want to like ruin the tone of like just like coming in and you know, just having a coughing attack every like 5 minutes, because that's literally what happened the next day that I watched Oppenheimer. But luckily there wasn't like a crazy amount of people in there because we went at like an 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So obviously theater time, most people come in during the evening. But yeah, so those are definitely two of my favorite movies. And then going back, Blade Runner, specifically 2049, is what I consider to be a cinematic masterpiece. Because not only the movie was so good to the point where the movie could literally stand on its own and be its own movie, as regarded being compared to a sequel, right? But just the color grading of that movie, my love for sci-fi and dystopian and cityscape, just like it pretty much overexceeded my expectations of what I liked, to the point where when I look at things now in an artistic sense, when I want to view like these like sort of vibes I'm going for, I look at that movie to help me out and be like, okay, this is gonna give me that energy. And like that's the first movie I go to when I think about like dystopian sci-fi. And shout out to me for acting in that movie. I played a really good officer. I gotta admit. And I think all of our love for Ana de Armas is my wife. That audio just comes on my feed all the time. My girlfriend gets so mad because she knows that I know who it's from. It's so funny because it's like I start repeating it every time it comes up. I'm like, you look lonely. I can fix that. And I'm just like, like it's funny.
Iconic.
Bro.
It's an iconic, iconic scene too. Like, but overall, yeah, probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Probably second to Interstellar, I'd say. Those are like the top 3 movies for me. There's so many more that I really like The Martian.
Yeah.
If you remember that movie, Matt Damon. Because obviously I'm a huge fan of science and I'm a huge fan of learning about like planets and all that type of stuff. So like watching that movie was just so much fun for sure. So I'm a really big fan of that kind of stuff too. And there are some anime movies that I also really like. I'm a big fan of Your Name.
I still have to see that one.
It's really good. I'm also a big fan of A Silent Voice. And since you two don't know it, and I'm sure that a lot of people who listen might not know what it is, A Silent Voice is kind of about just a bully, or when they were a kid, they were a bully, but they kind of got the karma to the best of them. And then when they grew up, like in high school, they were like suicidal. And the person that he bullied ends up coming back into his life and then that ends up being like a whole dilemma and all that type of stuff because, you know, he kind of stopped the whole bullying thing and wanted to be a better person. And, you know, those two kind of connect because of that and all that type of stuff and a lot of stuff. It's a very emotional movie. Probably considered the best anime movie of all time, for sure. And then Your Name is about kind of like a time skip of like two lovers. And I haven't watched that movie in a while, so I can't really put a good brief description off the top of my head, but it's a romance supernatural, and it's very interesting as well. Like you said, deep thinking.
Yep.
That movie, if you ever want to consider it a watch.
I'll definitely give it a watch.
So I think those are the rundowns of the movies that come off the top of my head. There are so many more. Like we said, we talked about the franchises and all this type of stuff. Those are also big movies for me, but off of just like single films, I can't really recall right now. The Batman. Yeah.
Real.
Something. Huge fan. Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic job. And we got a shout out to Zoe Kravitz out here. All right.
You stole it from me. How could you?
No, I didn't. Oh wait. We don't talk about that.
For another day.
That's for another day. All right. What about you, Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. It's kind of like a blast to the past, but Good Will Hunting is a really
Big
good
name.
movie. I love that movie. That's literally like the start of like if you guys know Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, that was literally their first movie that got them into the industry. Absolutely phenomenal. My boy Robin Williams, always a great guy watching there.
R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in peace to my boy. And then springing off of Robin Williams, another one of his great movies was Dead Poets Society. It's an awesome movie. So many good quotes in there. I'll definitely be using those for reels later.
Yes.
But there's those. There's that one. There's another one. Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire. That's just a really funny one to watch. It's man, before its time, but it's such a funny movie. I love watching that with my family. It's always like a feel good type movie, and it's just like so many funny elements in there, and even here and there, like a little bit of like deep thinking as well, if you like kind of like really think about it. And what are some other really good movies I remember? Trying to think back to like the childhood. The childhood. There's quite some masterpieces in there. Always gotta love, like as we said before, like the Percy Jackson series. Can't go wrong with that. Like dude, Annabelle. Always gotta say, good times. Great times, bro. Man. I cannot think of
Annabelle.
Wait, was it Annabelle? Oh, Annabeth. My bad.
You're talking Percy Jackson.
Yeah. Percy Jackson.
I don't remember.
Am I lost here?
Oh wait. I'm trying to remember the actor for Annabeth. It was
Oh, okay.
What's her name? Yeah.
I just got confused with the name.
Oh yeah.
For a minute. I was like,
that's my fault. Let's see. Obviously, the Batman Barbie movie. That's literally me.
Big one.
I did some great acting in there. You guys check it out.
Oh, you were there too?
Dude, yeah.
Why didn't I see you?
Dude,
Oh no, we were on set together.
Yeah, you were there.
You were
too.
there too.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I mean, like,
We're just Ken.
we're just Ken. What? Wait. I almost forgot. The from the Spider-Man series again. Spider-Man Miles Morales series. Love.
Into
Absolutely
Spider-
love.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Verse
I forgot to
movies.
mention that. That's a really big one, and that's such a big one for like art too.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a better animated movie than that franchise.
Yep.
And I am so excited for which one is it? Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Beyond,
the
yeah.
Spider-Verse. Yeah.
They use so many different art styles
Yeah.
to convey.
And for
different
each of
stuff.
them, like the nostalgia ones that they had back in the 20th century, and then now as well, you know, putting it all together. That's such like that's a huge accomplishment. That's so hard to do, and you know, they deserve all that time to be animating that movie. If they're gonna keep this up. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And literally to branch off that one, one that had similar artwork to that is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Dude, that movie
That movie was really
crazy.
good.
That was
actually.
really
That was a really good movie.
Dude, I was shocked at how good
Mm.
that was. Like, I don't think I'd seen, like, the first one before that, but, like, I just remember, like...
First one is good too.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I was shocked at how good it was. Like, I was just, like, watching it on a train ride because I was kind of bored.
Mm.
Like, bro, that thing, like, blew me away. I was like...
I think the first movie shocked me because I didn't like the way how Humpty Dumpty looked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the egg.
Bro. I don't think I could think of any other movies off the top of my head, but I definitely call those like few of my top.
Awesome. And did you guys want to add anything else before we wrap things up?
Favorite actors, actresses?
Oh,
Sure.
Me? Let's for starters. I'm a pretty good example. Yeah, shout out to me. I'm in so many movies. I can dance. I can play piano.
dude, same.
I'm a cop.
I can drive.
I try. But in all seriousness, I mean, Ryan Gosling his versatility
Insane.
is just incredible. His ability to
Insane.
do dramas and comedies
Mm-hmm.
and to portray so many different characters in such a real way. And the thing about Ryan Gosling, like, his career could easily just be playing a superhero in a franchise making a ton of money. It's similar to someone like a Jake Gyllenhaal, but instead he decides to play really unique, interesting characters in different types of movies with great filmmakers.
Mhm.
And that's why he has such a great varied filmography and why so many people say he's literally me,
Yeah,
because
for real.
he's so many different
so
people.
many different people.
Yeah.
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 Like, I don't know what other actor could play, be Ken but also be the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Like how drastically different those two characters are, yet he
Right.
plays them with the same gravitas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of like just the actor that kind of takes like that Sigma male approach. You know what I mean? So like, I'm a big fan of like Say What You Want. Leo DiCaprio,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
great actor.
Mm.
Say what you want about him personally, but great actor,
Mm-hmm.
Amazing
outstanding.
filmography.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't get any better than him too. Christian Bale is a really good example.
Oh,
and
yeah. Sigma.
changing, his physique for those movies is absolutely
yeah.
insane.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy. Like, he
Mhm.
could be like, a chunky person
Mm.
the next day, and then the other day now he's extremely skinny.
Yeah, ripped and
Yeah.
That's and that's like just sheer commitment.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah. Seriously.
you don't get any committed than that. I've never seen
an actor.
an
do that,
actor
yeah.
really do that,
Mm-hmm.
like, ever. At least like if people do, not to his extent
Mm.
of just that.
Yeah.
To truly
switch,
embody
you know what I
something
mean?
else.
Yeah. Like, he didn't just get skinny. Like, he like got.
He
like,
got he
It was like
literally
concerning. Yeah.
just
Concerningly, yeah.
it was too concerning.
Mm.
Like, that's how bad it was.
I was
Mm.
like, dude. That's
Like,
insane.
I'm not sure if you could keep doing that, but
Mhm.
Okay. Like,
Mm.
what are names we got? Cillian Murphy,
Cillian Murphy,
Oh, my
incredible.
man.
incredible.
I mean, a few that I love would be like Keanu Reeves and Tom
Yep.
Cruise.
Yep.
Just the
Huge names, yeah.
two of the greatest action stars we've ever had. And
I would like to put out Jackie Chan there.
Jackie Chan as well.
Jackie Chan is huge.
Mm.
Yep.
with-
Jack Black, baby.
Jack Black's really good.
Mm-hmm. Trying to remember.
I was a big fan of Chris Tucker.
Oh,
Chris
yes.
Tucker.
Rush Hour, baby.
Rush
That's
Hour.
what I'm talking
Shower
about.
films.
Oh man, so good.
That dude's a comedy genius.
Dude,
For sure.
seriously. Yeah. I didn't even know that he was actually in the Air Jordan movie. Chris Tucker
Yeah.
was.
The Air. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy, man. Trying to think.
That's a fun one. There's so many that
There's so many. Ryan Reynolds is a really good one.
Yep.
Very funny. And
Deadpool, baby.
there's a lot that I've kind of looked up to since I've gotten into acting. Like someone like a Casey Affleck, I like a lot. Ben Affleck's brother, who's been in a lot of great films, like Manchester by the Sea.
Mm.
That's one. I also really like Jimmy Stewart. It's a Wonderful Life. All the way back in the day, he's an incredible actor. Robin Williams
Yep.
is one, probably the most endearing actor
Mm-hmm.
of all time, and that's someone that I would want to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about acting is like you're playing, in a way, you're playing characters, but you're almost like people's friend.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're a protagonist, you're rooting for that character, so you're rooting for that person. That's a special thing. And that's one of the reasons why I love acting and continue to do it.
Mm.
So those are some performances that I like that I've taken into account as I try to learn. But I think that's probably about time we wrap things up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, thank you guys for coming on,
Yep.
for being such great guests. First non-QU guests. And of course, I want to continue to branch out.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate it because I've known you guys for years.
Yep.
We all go way back. It was nice to learn these new things and kind of have these fun dialogues.
Yeah.
Mm.
Man.
And of
Good
course,
time, for
thank
sure.
you for thank you, the audience, for watching. And of course, as always, this is Ryan Ziaks from the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Bye, everyone.